Good afternoon. I wanted to take a few minutes to introduce myself to you. I'm Jill Watkins, and I will be a student in the Principalship course this summer. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my background. I actually began in education in 1996, so this is year 25 for me, and I'm shocked at how fast it has gone, and I think that every year it goes a little bit faster. I have had the opportunities throughout my career to work in many different districts and learn under some awesome leaders. So, as you can see, I have held many different roles. And I would be remiss if I did not point out that when I look at that list of every one of those roles, what I see is every mentor that I had that invested in me, who helped me and trusted me and believed in me to make a difference. So I am very thankful for all of the leaders that took a chance on me and invested their time so that I could become better at what I do. And so I have a broad area of experience, and I think that each one of those has helped me in a different way. I've also had opportunities to work in some awesome districts, and that has, I believe, made a huge difference in my leadership capabilities and abilities as well. I am currently the Chillicothe Elementary principal, which is K1. And if you look back at my experiences, you're going to notice that almost all of them are secondary. Um, our district needed a K1 principal. We needed someone who had the instructional background and expertise to really move our lowest elementary level to a new level of learning and instruction and implement some new instructional practices. And so I have taken that challenge on. So you may be wondering why I'm in this class. That is because my current principal certificate is K-12. And when I called Northwest, they said that I needed to take this principal class and a 1 hour practicum in the fall in order for them to expand my certificate K-12 instead of 7-12. So here I am. I'm going to embrace this opportunity as an opportunity to continue to learn and grow. I feel like I'm always a learner and that I can always be better. So this is just another exciting adventure for me this summer. I am also the district mentoring coach for our district. Again, our district trusted me to develop a new mentoring program that has been approved by the state. It is an internal program, and it's based on best practices of coaching, instruction, and research, and teacher retention. So I deployed that 4 years ago within the Chillicothe R2 school district, and I believe it really is one of the premier mentoring programs in our state. We have actually had other districts come and visit us to model after our particular mentoring program after they have seen the instructional improvements that our first and second year teachers have been able to engage and deploy within their classrooms. I am also the professional development committee chair and the PD coordinator for our district. So I do lots of things district wide. In my spare time, what I have, I do serve on dissertation committees. I am a dissertation editor as well as a committee person for various students and universities across the state. So that keeps me busy and kind of keeps my English teacher heart happy as well. So that's fun for me to do. I'm an avid reader. I love to run and cycle. I enjoy spending time with my husbands, and we don't have human children. Our children have four legs and they're fuzzy. We have two dachshunds, and they are Pippa and Elsa, and very near and dear to our heart. Actually, they might bark at some point in this, so I'll just try to keep going. As you can see, I have multiple degrees. The last degree that I finished was my doctorate, and I finished that 6 years ago through William Woods. And so, again, it's been a while since I've been in a class myself, but I'm looking forward to this journey with you. What's next? The 5 year plan. My 5 year plan probably looks different than some of yours because I'm 25 years in, guys. So My immediate plan is to really focus on those BSIP goals aligned to our comprehensive school improvement plan to address teaching and learning for our students at the K1 level. We are currently really digging into pathways, phonemic awareness, language development, intervention, as well as deploying Lucy Calkins reading and writing units of study. So we have our hands full, as well as addressing those learning gaps that we traditionally have, but also the new learning gaps from the COVID shutdown in the spring. So, right now, I'm in a lot of data, I'm in a lot of planning, a lot of instructional planning and scheduling, really working with our schedules to make them look a little bit different, not only to address individual student needs, but also the needs for COVID protection within our building and in our littles. I'm huge in community involvement. I am part of a group that we have in our community called the North Missouri Center of Youth and Families. I'm also on a Lillian Damaris Trust, and we are just finishing up our new children's library for the community. It's a $1.5 million project, and I'm excited to see that come to fruition. And we will open that in August of this year. And then I'm also on our Livingston County Library board. After I finish with Missouri Department of Elementary and Secondary Education and fulfill my 30 years, I would really like to work on a book and become a keynote. I feel like my expertise is teaching and learning. That's what I love. That's what I'm invested in. And I think that I have some ideas that I could share to help inspire and encourage teachers and leaders to become better in other districts. Um, this is honestly what I believe. Leaders become great not because of their power, but because of their ability to empower others. And as I was really looking at the letter that Dr. Gordon wrote to new administrators, I think that things that stood out to me was just that idea that leadership is all about putting the pieces of the puzzle together. And you have to have the knowledge, but you also have to have a vision. You have to have relationships. I'm a huge relationship person. I think if you would talk to any of my teachers in my buildings, they would tell you and my students that I thrive on relationships. But you also have to be able to put those pieces together and deploy. Making sure that you have the ducks in a row, you know how it's going to roll out, you are ready to make changes as needed, you are looking at the data, and it's just not one piece, it's all of those pieces put together. The other thing that stood out to me is that he mentioned, smiling and starting each day with a smile, and I think that positivity breeds positivity. And my job as a leader is to put the plans in place, but to also continually reiterate to my students and my teachers that yes, you can. I believe in you, and you're awesome. And those are the hashtags that I always use on social media. If you know me, those are my go-tos. So making sure that even when things are hard and we have a plan in place that's going to take a lot of work, that my teachers know and trust that I'm going to put the pieces together to make that puzzle work for them. I'm going to quickly go back to this quote, and one of the things that we were asked to share was a story or something that stood out about our experiences, and so this story is kind of a story that just finished, but started almost 11 years ago. So 11 years ago, I was actually teaching a college class for students who were finishing their bachelor's degree, and it was an education course. And one of my students in that particular course, when he graduated with his bachelor's degree, of course, as instructors, we set up towards the front of the stage in our regalia. And after he received his diploma on graduation day, he came over to the instructional platform and shook my hand and handed me this little piece of paper. And everyone, of course, was like, "What is that?" And because it was so odd that a graduate would actually do that. And so I opened the sheet, and he had given me an exit slip. And in that exit slip, he shared with me everything that I had helped him learn and understand as a new educator, and how excited he was to go into the education field. So fast forward now, 6 years. 6 years later, this particular student that I had when I taught the college class was in my building, and I was an administrator and he was a teacher. And I worked with him one on one in the mentoring program through coaching cycles, and then also on the admin side, through teacher observations and growth and professional development, and content and deploying content and looking at data. And When I left that position this spring to transition to my new K1 position, he the last day of school, he came in and he handed me a sheet of paper. And I had kind of forgotten about the exit slip 6 years prior when he was in, or 10 years prior when he was in college. Um, but I opened the sheet, and he had written me a letter, and it was his exit slip. And again, he told me that how much I had helped him learn and grow as a teacher. Um, and it was really one of the most meaningful uh, letters that I have ever gotten. And I think that one of the things that we forget in education is that we always look for those quick wins, or the things that happen immediately. And sometimes our impact is over time. And I think that's a perfect example of impacting someone over time. And even though I had kind of forgotten about that first exit slip, this particular teacher never had. And it was a light bulb moment for me, to remind myself that what I do is important, and what I do every day does make a difference. And the super cool thing about it is that I will now have his child as a kindergartner this year in my building. So um, just really, really fun and exciting. So thank you for giving me time to share my story with you, so that you could learn a little bit more about me. And I hope we learn more together throughout the summer. Have a great day, guys.